There is a bit of discussion now about whether we can combat climate change. Is that possible? And in a way, I think we can, because we have the technology, so many of the technologies that are able to take on board some of these developments for green growth. And we also have a set of policies that can help the countries to overcome some of the difficulties or some of the advantages in the transition.
I think what is very important is that we already see climate change and environmental changes affecting labour markets. So there is a cost of inaction, actually, and we do need to think about restructuring labour markets. And there is a challenge to devise active policies, because environmental change will not be solved just by the market forces itself. So our current levels of overconsumption really have to be tackled by intelligent policies.
It's true, actually. I think from our perspective in the local level, local authorities and local governments are struggling to cope with new regulations and to cope actually with national and international regulations related to environment and climate change mitigation. Adapting to climate change will mean not only coping with the natural disasters at the local level, but actually how best implement policies and programs that will support economic growth and job creation while mitigating and adapting to climate change.
Actually, that is very true, and if we look at some of the barriers that some countries might have in the way to implement some of these policies, we can also understand that for some particular countries or regions or localities that their industrial base and their economic force is based on an industry that is high in carbon emissions, to take on board the whole restructuring of the economy towards a more greener production, it implies a lot of questions about how are we going to do it, in which way we can do the process so that the outcomes are in the way that you were commenting before. And I'm referring, for instance, to the coal mining industry. So all these questions and unknowns is something that I think the role of public policy can come on board in advising how the process could be done in the short and in the long term, of course.
I entirely agree. There is a big challenge, well, first of all, to identify which are the sectors most affected, and from an ILO perspective, then how to manage a just transition. And just transition will mean really looking at the disadvantaged groups and seeing what particular measures, retraining measures, for example, could help them retain their job, maybe even in the same industry, but with an upgrade of their skills.
But how can you actually promote this green economy, this green growth? Because at the local level, I think the challenge for them is coping with the short-term, immediate needs. The population today, with the economic crisis, with the financial crisis, they're struggling to maintain jobs and good quality jobs. So already in this very difficult situation, how can you add an extra burden? And I think international organizations have a big responsibility in trying to understand better the situation and come with an analysis of good practices, what has been done and how our regions across the globe are coping with this challenge.
And actually, I mean, if we look around the whole world, and not only in OECD countries, but also in other developing countries, we can see a range of countries that have already adopted some type of plans or policies towards the green growth. And we have looked at least 40 plans, national plans for countries all around, from Europe, Africa, from Asia, Oceania. Some countries probably have put more resources into it. And Korea is a good example, putting 2% of the GDP into a plan to get green growth functioning in the next short and long term, actually. But there are many other countries, in Spain, in Portugal, that are making efforts towards providing specific plans or strategies for green growth. And maybe in the ILO environment, you might have even more examples.
Well, I think the major reason why the ILO, and I understand also the OECD, is embarking on green jobs now is because we see that there's an enormous potential for job creation in these new green sectors. So a number of studies have really shown this potential, be it in the building sector, in renewable energies, but also in recycling, industrial recycling, in organic food, for example. And the big challenge now is really to see how best policies can assist in identifying and then providing the right skills for these sectors.
But also the implementation, isn't it? The thing that you were talking before about implementation in the local level and how that is going to be done really on the ground, and not only at the policy or the national level.
How to identify those skills? How to identify those new jobs? How can you say that these new jobs will be created thanks to a new green strategy? How can you make sure that these jobs are going to be decent jobs, are going to have some career ladder, are going to have some professional development, are going to actually be inclusive, where highly skilled, medium skilled and lower skilled workers can take these new opportunities arising. And I think it's also important to provide the capacities to local governments and local authorities to measure, to raise awareness at the local level, because there's a big concern at the local level among enterprises, among workers, of what the consequences of a reshuffle of the economy will be. And we need to have this evidence and tools to allow them to make decisions.
Actually, we have just conducted a study in 21 countries worldwide, actually, and tried to find out what countries are doing in order to respond to this challenge of new competencies, of new core skills that will be needed. And actually leadership came out as one of the very important core skills in this area.
Of course, you can have a national framework, but the leadership has to come from the bottom.
And there is one thing quite positive that we can see already, that is young people, new graduates are attracted to the industries that are in what we say the green growth and environment, and it's a positive sign that we are moving maybe into not only the economic growth but also in the respecting the environment.
And this is a new opportunity to create new jobs in new sectors, an opportunity also to bring back the workers that are today excluded from the economic model, the current economic model, traditional industries, traditional sectors, to the new economy.
And I think one of the big intellectual challenges now is not only to look at current labour markets and to see how adjustment can be managed in a just way, but also having a perspective towards the future. So where are the new opportunities really coming up?
Yeah. We're looking forward to collaborating more with the ILO on this topic.
And we with the OECD.
Thank you very much.